All right, we're live here with Ed Beard Jr. on a massive day in sorcery with
Woo!
the pre-order blowout of the Dragonlord Miniset by Ed Beard Jr. and Eric's Curiosa. So you're celebrating, I see.
Oh, like
Exciting.
no one's business, man. Because this thing was underrated since day one. A lot of the more game playing related was saying, it's 13 cards. How can it possibly make a big difference? And of course, I knew this was going to be a major factor with play. I knew that I didn't know from the very beginning, but I knew a long time ago that the rule change was going to happen. That was finally announced today. That the Avatar Dragonlord has got flight now, which was going
Yep.
to change the dynamic of the play.
Oh yeah.
Then I knew, of course, I've known about all the mechanics of the cards, and those still haven't all been released. But I've known this was going to be a heavy hitter for both the gameplay, but above all, I knew this was going to be a super highly desirable collectible because I knew how this product was put together. When Eric and I worked on it, we made this a boutique premium Fabergé egg. It's what I find it interesting is that yet no one has really not even Team Covenant on their live today, really talked about the fact that this box right here
Oh,
is
there it
hard
is.
as a rock. This is not this is made with what is equivalent to a book. You know what a book sleeve is, Rob? A bookcase, a
Yeah,
case for a book. That's what
sure.
this is made of. This is heavy, heavy. This is not chipboard. It's not corrugated. So this is beautifully wrapped. It has a magnetic flip.
Wow.
So this is in itself a work of art, and really is why there's going to be a display for this bad boy. These will be put up after this sign. I don't know if you can see. That's just showing the 00. This is actually my proof. This was the very first one that was sent to me. This was the proof. So
Amazing.
yeah, and that's the way it's
That's
going to be
special.
numbered on my signed and numbered deluxe series. But I knew this thing right here. This is not a package just to hold cards.
Hmm.
This is part of the product. This is what you put on your table, your desktop or your live, wherever you put your collectible cards for display. That's
Yeah.
where this is going to go. And then we'll hopefully get a bearish case on it, and it will look even better.
No one's
Um,
throwing that one out. Yep.
yeah. So they have. This is why we knew this was going to be huge because of the collectability. And now all of a sudden, what we find out is every time they revealed a new card, especially in the last 2 weeks, they revealed Add an Item, which is the Lightning Dragon, and then they just released the Celestis, who is the Winter Spirit. I mean, those are two dynamically beautiful pieces that I have, you know,
Hmm.
out of the entire set, they're very different from me, but they're crucially instrumental in the storyline, and they're very integral about getting the flavor for what this is all about. This world of building life and creating these elemental creatures. So I think people have become enamored with that. I think they got very embracing in it. They saw these two last pieces and they were like, okay, this is really cool stuff. Because that's all I saw. I mean, I'm not just thinking this, imagining this. I'm watching and reading these posts on all these different social medias and discords and stuff. And you saw the comments too, man. They were
Yeah.
genuine. They were like, that's wicked cool. I got people asking for T-shirts of that, and so I think visually, because it is very classically hand painted, old school, vintage. I am vintage, right? So it's a
Hmm.
very vintage look to classic dragon work with a massive storyline on it, with a good playable card in a unique, very limited box. It's
Hmm.
obviously that those are all the recipes. That's all the ingredients you need for a recipe of ultra collectability. What I see as unfortunate is that a lot of distributors may be underestimating it, and they just didn't. They felt like Team Covenant. I mean, they said we just don't think we ordered enough. We never imagined this speed in which 2.5 hours. I think they said at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it was around 2.5 hours. They completely sold out of everything they had in stock, and they said they're not getting any more.
Yep.
So that means that's what they were estimating. This would take at least. I think they originally said maybe 2 to 3 weeks. They figured it might last till Gen Con, right?
Hmm.
2.5
Yeah.
hours. That's got to be
Yeah.
aggressive.
It's funny because I've been doing a lot of videos on this too, and you were calling it premium, and there was terms thrown around by the company. I think like someone was calling it limited, right? So I was like, it's probably going to be somewhat hard to get, at least like fairly hard to get, but at least everyone could get one copy from Team Covenant, and you'll probably have like a few months or at least a few weeks, no big deal. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really was like a wild shock that it was sold out today. I was at work, I was in meetings all day. I get out of the meetings, my Discord was popping off, the Facebook community group was nuts. And I was catching up on the comments, and everyone's like, sold out, sold out, sold out. So even me, I was like, I want to get one from Ed. I want to get one from Team Covenant to make sure I have an opportunity to get a couple, one to open, one to display. That's what most people want to do. And it's gone already. So it was absolutely shocking that it was that fast. I always thought it would be the first product to sell out through since Kickstarter, because I expected it to be more limited. Like, you don't, if you're getting a full set to play with, you don't need to print a ton. But within a few hours, man, that says a lot about people's excitement for it. And then the rules change, as you mentioned. The Dragonlords really, like, avatars don't fly. Now they do. The Dragonlord is going to be pretty powerful, at least until Gothic, and then we'll see, right?
Yeah, Dragonlord's the first to do that, and it was that whole rule was designed for the Dragonlord.
Yeah.
It was explained on the EC post. But you and I mean, you especially, you very much from like going back a year when I was doing my live Patreons and painting, and you were doing intermediate coverage of things. You were telling people, you were saying, guys, don't underestimate this. This is going to be highly sought after. It's going to be wicked collectible. There's a lot involved. I started talking about my art book and the storylines and that, and then we were building a little peripheral interest. People were like just tonight, there was people saying, "Hey Ed, how are you doing on the T-shirts?" You know, I don't normally get people asking me when are we going to do a new product. You know, so and today alone, we hit over, I think it was a little over 2,500 signups on my website to be notified when my 700 boxes will become available to the public. And of course, we'll talk about really how difficult that's going to be.
Yeah.
That's just today. In the last week, I keep getting notices that my traffic is up 27,000% on my website.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, people want to make sure they get it, you know, and you can't blame them. I always thought, like you say, for the past year, I mean, there's nothing like it. Like, Magic does these secret layers. It's like a different type of offering, but this, like, you painted all these, hand painted. So there's, you know, it's a special, and in the, like, the scheme, like the world of sorcery that is so dedicated to hand painted art, to get like a subset of the dragons. Eric was like gushing about it at Sorcery Con. He's like, I always wanted to work with Ed Beard Jr., you know, ever since I was a kid, the dragons, I love his dragons, and here I am fulfilling a dream. So we've been excited for a long time, and here it is, man.
He did such a beautiful job at the layout, working on making sure that the text and mechanics went with the flavor of the actual biographies on each of the characters that I supplied to them. And we went back and forth with trying to make also cropping the image, making it work. But he knows what he's doing when it comes to art directing. He's a very good artist, and he just put it together in such a way that it looked premium to the max. You have been warning people, and you got a lot of resistance. I remember watching a lot of the players.
Yeah, some people are like, "There's no basis for that," and I was like, "Dude, let me look at the product. It's gonna be amazing, right?" And why would they print a ton of it again? Like, I keep coming back to that. I expected it to be hard to get, but not this hard.
13 cards. So they're saying, well, how is that going to change the dynamics of the gameplay? Well, they haven't even seen the rest of the cards. The best is yet to come. So, I think in 2 weeks, or a little bit less than 2 weeks, TCG Player is going to announce another reveal. So that's going to be something interesting to see. So I think there's going to be yet another layer. But the secret layer comparison, I've seen that so many times.
Yeah.
First off, this is a genuine to press, gone to press. This is not print on demand. Secret Lair was print on demand for the most part, and then when they got enough of an order within a certain time frame, they would then go to offset. This was done the hard way, the permanent way. It was not meant. This is not something you go back. Oh, let me just keep printing it out. This was a one-shot print on demand product. I'm sorry, offset press product. So it's not like what Secret Lair. Many of the Secret Lair projects were print on demand. They could make them to order, and they would do however many they were. And I highly doubt that even the Secret Lair that they may have done that had the least interest, meaning the least amount sold, is probably still a lot more than what we have here with Dragonlord. So when people were comparing prices, well, you pay $40 for a Secret Lair project. Yeah, and there's a ton more product out there than there would be of the Dragonlord.
Yeah, good point.
And I can't.
Yeah, and it's interesting because also the other factor is the prior sets like Beta and Arthurian Legends. We've seen evidence that they've printed a lot of it. It's been available through distribution for a long time. So it hasn't sold out. So I always thought this would be the first to sell out. And if it's limited, it's like a whole different thing that kind of draws collectors back, because the collectors, not as understanding of the fact that there's been supply for a full year. Although it makes sense as the game's growing, players got to have access and get it. But now you have this is like a packaged as a collectible item, and it is, and it's playable, but you get the full set to play with in one. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And now it's really, I think I've seen like the collectors, some of the collectors were a little disenfranchised with Arthurian Legends being out there for so long and being available and stuff, and the price didn't like escalate, like people get impatient. But on this one, I mean, like seeing all the enthusiasm and engagement and the excitement, the collectors are coming back in and they're fired up. So now you got like these tournaments coming up, more play opportunities for players, and now a very collectible item. It's like it's all coming together over the summer of sorcery here. And then the fall is going to be nuts with all the tournaments, Gen Con. So you're going to be at Gen Con in a few weeks too.
Yeah.
So, and the product will be there. So we'll see all the cards and all the power, all the playability.
Oh yeah, I'm coming with every single image in full limited edition print. I've got some canvases to go on display. I will have the Dragonlord's Lair playmat. That'll be debuting there.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah. So, and it's got the grid on it, of course.
Yep.
There is, a lot of things. The other thing that's unique about this is the fact that it's an adaptation of a storyline I wrote in 2005 to 2012, right? When you go and take a look at what Secret Lair or anything Magic's put out, whether it's Lord of the Rings or whatever, you got to get into those kind of big mega properties before you see a collaboration of an adaptation of an intellectual property owned by another company. There have been artists who have done entire sets of Secret Lair, right? Exclusively their work.
Yeah.
But it isn't their concepts. It's not their storyline. There was no book that was being adapted and stuff. So there's another layer of uniqueness that goes along with this product. And hell, man, I've been in this industry for 37 years. I had well over 1,000 game cards among all the different games I worked for, from Magic the Gathering to Alderac Entertainment to oh my God, let's see, Pirates. I did Seven Seas. We did Shadow Fist. I was art director. I figured out the other day we were just a little over 1,000 cards. So pretty much from 1993 until 2005, I did 1,000 paintings. Then that doesn't even get into all the licensed products. I was doing the Dragon calendar that you found at Borders and Barnes and Noble for about 15 years. So posters that you found at Spencer Gifts and Hot Topic. I was the guy that did the poster rack. What is it? Hot Topic had if you go into it basically is a poster rack, but it had everything from blacklight posters to regular posters.
Yeah, I remember that.
Black Ball. So between that, Walmart's jigsaw puzzles, all those years, the last 15 years especially, my stuff is in everyone's house. Half the time they didn't know who the artist was. Now all of a sudden they're looking and going, hold on a minute, I know this guy's work. So there's another thing. I'm getting younger people that are interested in this product that have just started to get into sorcery that are going, oh my God, my dad had his calendars or whatever. So I think there's a nostalgia factor that I'm bringing to the table because I'm an old bastard, right? I mean, I'm vintage. It's because I was a product manager. I was an illustrator for products. I was a licensed. I licensed my art. That's how I made my living. I was on laptops and wall covers and toys and everyday things from keychains to I'm on Zippo lighters for Christ's sakes, right? So my work is very diversified. I'm not niched in just the game market, and that brings a lot of outside collectors. I know I did for the last 2 years. I've worked on this project. I brought a ton of people, probably about 1,000 collectors of my own from the Renaissance fairs and so forth that have been breathing down my neck about this. Now let's get into how you're going to get it from me. So when we were talking about this not long ago, you and I, about how do you price something like this when I am specifically offering a unique product. Now my agreement with Eric and the Eric Curiosa Limited is that all of the boxes that I ordered, which was 700, had to be signed and numbered. And I was the one that suggested, because what Eric wanted was to make sure that not one particular retailer or any wholesaler or anybody got a lion's share of the product. He didn't want to have that imbalance in the marketplace, which is very reasonable, right?
Yeah.
So how I suggested that we did this, I make it really different by doing signed and numbered only on those boxes. That's the only ones I'll do. And I added an extra bonus layer to it, which is I will be doing original art cards. In fact, here's one example of them right there.
Wow. Awesome.
And they're on the back of my, this is like a fantasy art set that I had proofs of. And I have almost 700 of them. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I said, let's do a package deal. That's going to up the ante to make this even more of a unique product. Well, that got a lot of interest to the tune of, like I said, over 2,500 submissions today alone. Uh,
Wow.
how many out of those 2,500 are actually going to be into the art or are just contacting me because they just want the box? They can't get it from anyone else. You know,
Yeah.
are they going to be willing to pay the premium? Because you're not buying the box signed and numbered for me. I was originally going to sell them separately.
Mhm.
And then you and I talked, and how does that make any sense when I have more demand, well over the 700, for the
Yeah.
art cards? I'm not going to shortchange those collectors who want the art card box combo.
Mhm.
So I've decided, because of the demand, that I'm going to only offer for now the box signed and numbered with the art card. And they'll be able to make a choice between certain tiers of complexity. I think I might cut it back down to two, just a simpler one and a very complex one. But
Okay.
then there's the issue of I don't have. If I did keep even 1,000 of the 2,500 people that signed up in the last 2 days, I still won't have enough product to take care of them. So
Mhm.
I've always said for 2 years now, and posted in your Discord, my Facebooks, please join my Patreon if you want to be hooked up when the 700 boxes arrive in my place. I always have said my Patreons get priority number one pole position. They get the
Mhm.
preferential. And I'm doing it the fair way, which is the people who have been with me the longest and who pay the highest tiers of my Patreon will get first dibs at the lowest numbers and the best art, right?
Yep.
Then, as you go down the tier, the less you pay, the less of a preferential position you get. But either way, you have at least a shot at getting this product.
Mhm.
And now let's talk about numbers there. So I currently have about 125 active paid members who will qualify to be in the queue for these boxes. So I have 700 boxes. I'm probably going to keep about 50 to 100 for myself, for my kids, for posterity. So let's say I
Yeah.
had, they'll all be numbered, but they'll be in their possession. And
Yep.
let's say I have 650. If I have 125 Patreons right now, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden half of the people who have signed up over the last 2 weeks, which is a little over 3,000, that puts it at 1,500, I will already not have enough product. So
Yeah.
those people have got to join my Patreon if they think if they're ever going to get a shot to be able to be on the queue for one of these boxes, at least as
Mhm.
I've seen it now. But right now, 125 are taken up. That leaves about 575 to almost 600
Yep.
spots left open,
Yeah.
and it's going to be given to the highest tier pay. I am requiring a minute. You have to be paid up for a year. So I changed my Patreon to be allowing people to buy a 1 year membership. Now you
Yep.
can join a minion level, which is only $5 a month. That's like it's actually $55 because you get a discount when you pay for the full year. So
Right.
for $55, you're signed up for my Patreon. You've locked yourself in, and it's also going to be first come first serve. So if somebody
Mm.
tonight gets to be the 126th person, well, they're guaranteed a box.
So someone in chat just said they're number 126. They just signed up. So, but
So
I want to like draw attention to a point you just made because some people were like getting bent out of shape on like Facebook and some of the socials saying like, oh, now it's like being gate kept by Patreon. But no, you've been talking about this for a year.
2 years.
Just because you just learned about it and you just got plugged in, now you care about Dragonlord, now you're paying attention, doesn't mean you haven't been talking about it for the past year. So this isn't inconsistent, and it's like very common and normal for artists and like content creators like myself. You prioritize people that are supporting you the most or
Right.
have been supporting you the longest. That's common sense because you
Yep.
want to give back to people that support you. But I love that you're doing the art card because again, you're an artist. You want to get your art out into the world. So to package that with the playable product makes perfect sense. You're catering to your collectors, art, like genuine art enthusiasts that will desire that card and not see it just like a promo where you flip the card to kind of reimburse the cost of the box. And if people want to do that, fine. But your package is going to please art enthusiasts and collectors. I think that's awesome.
Right. I'm not a retail game seller, guys. I don't
Yeah.
sell game boxes. I have absolutely no record. I don't have an eBay store. I don't sell games. So this was my buying the 700 boxes was always for my art collectors. Always. It was
Yeah.
who else am I going to sell it to, right? I'm not online.
Mhm.
I don't sell on Amazon, none of that stuff.
And it's a
Uh,
risk you took too. There's no guarantee there would be high demand. I mean, you had confidence in it. Obviously, you did such great work for it, but who knows with these TCGs?
the reason for that is because I've been for 2 years now since I started the first paintings.
Hmm.
My Patreon members have all been pitched. Every time I did a painting, hey guys, tell your friends if they want to get in on. I knew from day one when we signed the contract, I was going to have 700 boxes. And I
Yeah.
talked to my Patreon members from day one about it. They all knew. So no,
Okay.
this is absolutely not like a gatekeeping. Oh, Ed's all of a sudden decided to throw this art pit. Oh no. The only thing I
Yeah.
did change is I was going to offer both a signed limited box without art and with. But there's no way I'm going to do that when I've got more original art interest and orders for that. I've already got more
Yeah.
people interested in the art. I mean, that's
Right.
just, not only is that stupid business wise,
Yeah.
I, I've always said I would do it. The only
Hmm.
difference I'm going to do is simple as this. When people don't want this anymore, let's say out of the 2,500, I wind up with, I don't know, 400 people that actually sign up for my Patreon. They're going to love that because they get entertained to death. All of the cards, by the way, will be done live on Patreon. So they're going to
Yeah.
always have some entertainment to see those being done among the other paintings and automotive airbrush and stuff that I
That's
did.
awesome.
Because my
Hmm.
content is that quality, as you know. But the fact that when that time comes, if all of a sudden the demand for the art dries out, and I still have 100 boxes signed and numbered left over,
Hmm.
maybe I will offer them to the public, like because I'm allowed to do that on my website or through Renaissance fairs. But as of
Okay.
right now, there is absolutely no reason for me to believe, based on the demand. I am so sure I would have never imagined this, man. But it's not only that popular for people wanting to just buy the product, not having to do with me, just to buy the card set, but I'm getting an increase in interest. And by the way, just
Mm.
today alone, the people that signed up when they reached out to me, they reached out on my website and they said, "Hey Ed, I signed up. I hope I'll be able to get that notice." When I sent the messages back saying, "Look, just to give you a heads up, there may not be anything for the public come July 31st." Because all my Patreon members in the next 2 weeks are going to get the chance to sign up first. So whatever's left, that's what's going to be available July 31st. And I told them that, and they just went, "Oh, dude, I'm all about your Patreon. I'll join today." Okay, then, great.
Yeah.
You want to support my art? That's the way you do it, man.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're at 128 according to the chat. You got a few signups here, so people are
very,
excited, and it's cool. You showed a few of the cards. It's awesome that they're so in your Patreon. I want people to like understand that are just joining. You painted all like some of these were paintings you had done before, like the one that was just revealed, the blue crystal dragon.
that was
But
yeah. So let me tell you about that. So
yeah, go ahead.
Winter Spirit, which was the original, is the title that was operating title. The name was Celestis in my storyline in my book.
Okay.
The book had
Hmm.
not been published. It was an unpublished, registered, copyrighted thing. So I wanted to be careful about not releasing the name. But when I in 2005 through 2012, I created the very first illustrations for the Dragonlord. Some of those images were available to be selected by Eric. Uh, Eric really loved this piece, the Winter Spirit, which is Celestis. So he selected that as an option. Yeah. So that is a piece well, this is the fun part. You also know about this is that all my Patreon members,
Yeah.
they had no idea that that card Celestis was even going to be set because obviously I
Yeah.
wasn't painting it, right? It was already painted.
Yep.
And there was a shirt. It's hanging and it's always been there, hanging next to my easel of the Winter Spirit or Celestis. So that
Hmm.
shirt has been there, and everyone was looking at it for the longest time. And I'm finally now going to be able to say, by the way, you remember that shirt that's sitting right here? So they
Yeah.
had a spoiler, and they didn't even know it.
I know. I remember looking at it, and I saw it on the Zippos, on the T-shirt. Looks awesome. But
Yes.
yeah, what I was getting at, like you painted. So some of these were previously painted, but you painted a lot of these
Well,
specifically
one,
for sorcery. Oh,
one,
just one? Oh, okay.
one at the moment.
Oh, okay. And then so you painted all these live in your Patreon. People got to watch that, which was like amazing. Like I saw you paint a ton of them, and I love that. It's like a special memory I'll remember for a long time. But now people are going to get to see you paint that art sketch card. That so you get to watch them do it live, and then you get to own that card and the box. I mean, that's
Yep.
pretty awesome. Like TCGs are a lot about nostalgia and memories, connecting with the art and stuff. So I love how you're building that connection in a different way in addition to the gameplay aspects.
Yeah,
That's cool.
also, the higher tiers, not just the fully painted ones, you get to commission me what you want. So when
Oh,
you go
cool.
fully painted, you're spending big money, then you absolutely get to commission it. There's a guy that Wai Chang Wang, I think his name is. He just did a couple of videos on the Pokemon. I posted on my Facebook. I did
Yeah.
Pokemon. I did Dragonite and Blastoise. So
Yeah.
you can have any subject you want, man. If you want a
Okay.
Digimon on there, I will do it for you because my kids collected that stuff. I know the Pokemon cards, so
That's
it's a
cool.
world that people don't know that I do. But I mean, I
Mhm.
illustrate everything. I've done kitty cats for Christ's sakes,
Yeah.
on people's cards. But you're gonna so in the hopper tiers, you get to commission me to do specific stuff. The lower tiers, you get whatever I give you. Now,
Okay.
I'm debating on the middle tier. If I keep the middle tier, I think what I'm going to do with the middle tier. So there's an entry level black and white, and then there's a middle one, which is a really elaborate piece. I might give my middle of the road memberships, like say the 50 and up. I might give those people at least an option to choose from whatever selection I have at the time, based on how long they've been with me. Prioritize it based on fair, first come first serve, and that might be something I can give. And then the lowest tier entry level, I'm just going to select what I got, and everyone's going to get a random thing. So you get random to some selection to very specific commission work, and that's kind of what I'm thinking we're going to do. And we're just trying to right now figure out how that's going to work.
Mhm.
If you go to my website right now and you went under art cards or artist proof cards, you will
Yeah.
see the prices that I typically get. And actually, those are kind of old, but those are what I normally get for my prices. I get a premium when I do artist work on the back of these cards, way more, and you know that. Uh,
Yeah.
you've seen
For
it, right?
sure.
Um,
Mhm.
so I'm looking at actually giving anyone that is on my Patreon that buys one of my signed and numbered boxes an even better price deal specifically the black and whites. And actually, I was even thinking about reducing the price by about 30% of those listed prices on my website, so that the people buying the deluxe package from me will get an even better price point. So that has
Yeah.
also increased the interest. So basically, every one of my Patreon members is gung ho about buying these. Um,
Yeah, that's very fair because it offsets the 1-year membership. You sign up for a year, you get the discount on like the price it would otherwise be if someone wants to buy your art. So it kind of pays for itself. I think it's totally reasonable and fair and awesome. It's amazing value. I mean, it's unbelievable.
just a discount off the originals that I've already got listed on my website. So,
Yeah.
if I was to do, well, let me see here. Just pick out any card. Oh yeah, okay. So let's say this one, our dear little frog man.
Yeah.
Now,
The
see,
Frogman's in chat. He said, "Thanks for getting Ed to come on so quickly." So thank you, Ed, for coming on too. I really appreciate it, man. Short notice here. We didn't know this was going to happen.
so something like that, I usually get $450 to $500 on my website.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
probably only put that tier at 249 or 300. So
Mhm.
you're going to get your money back in value just in the cards alone if you buy membership. But then there's the fact that I put out hundreds of hours of content on my Patreon. So, but that's what I'm all about. The whole point of me buying these 700 boxes was to cater to the art collectors, not the players. So if you're just a player and you're trying to get the packs because you can't get them somewhere else, then no, you shouldn't be getting them from me. You should be that's not what you come from me for. I
Yeah.
don't want someone joining my Patreon just so they can get this box, and because they're gonna, like you say, they're just gonna flip the card on eBay because
Yeah.
they're not an art collector, and
Mhm.
then they're gonna have buyer's remorse. I don't want you to be on my Patreon unless you're excited to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a fun experience. I've tuned into a ton of your Patreon lives, and it's one to let people know that like recently, I've noticed this more than ever. Every time I log in, there's like at least 5 to 10 like sorcery guys I know. Like these are the guys I'm talking to in Discord like all the time. So it's like the same conversation we're having in Discord. We're having live in your chat while you're at the easel doing whatever you're doing. Sometimes a full painting, sometimes these sketch cards, like all kinds of stuff. And you and your son and daughter and wife are always a lot of fun. Like you always have one of them with you, kind of hosting, and they're mixing it up with us in chat too while you're doing the work. But you're very
Oh yeah,
engaging. It's
and
a
I
good time.
I talk about whatever you guys are talking. We'll bring up subjects that are goofy, or we'll just completely go off into Nerdville and we'll talk collectibles, and
Yeah,
I'll talk about different things in my lifetime, my experience, and it is
yeah,
very fun. It's educational, but it's also a lot of fun. And we do
hmm
goofy stuff. Then we have the gift away. I mean, just the tiers alone. I've made it so that those give in every tier you get certain premium things, limited edition prints, posters. The giveaways are averaging $50 to $150, and then once a month I give out a $200 to $300 value, like a canvas thing and whatever. Man, I mean, we just
yeah.
last episode, I think I gave away a $30 item. Actually, it was a Harbinger. It was a Ignis Rex. It was a banner. It was
Oh,
a
oh,
black
sweet.
banner.
Yeah,
So
do you just do a big like blanket or something with one of the sorcery arts I saw? Which
Yes,
one was that? The Ignis, right?
just had that made. That's a woven blanket. It's
That's
available.
cool.
Of course, we know you
That's
single.
what I used on the thumbnails, in case people don't know. Yeah, the fire dragon.
Yes,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
Your group alone, single handedly, pretty much bought out 80% of my coins. I
the
still,
coins. Yeah, I'm getting over a cold. I keep muting and coughing.
I think I have maybe 30 of these left, and I
Yeah,
bought 200. So, your guys, yeah, you have. So on an average, like this last episode was on a Sunday night, and that's unusual to have many people, but I think we had like 10 or 15. Um,
yeah,
but I've had as much as I've had 20 to 25 people, and our people are wonderful. They're really cool. They behave, and they're just goofy. And so everyone has like-minded interests. And when if I start drawing a subject, we will talk about the legends, the history, the mythological aspects, and then
yeah.
people will start going crazy. They'll start talking poetry. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's some interesting people like that follow you for sure, and like I'm always amazed by like your creative like imagination and depth. I remember asking you one time, I was like, "Where's the reference model you're working off of here?" And you're like, Nah, it's right here." Like what reference model? I've been studying anatomy for the past 40 years, and just the hours and hours of repetition and honing your craft. It's incredible.
and I also love it. The reason I even started this Patreon was because I no longer could teach in person. We had the shutdown
Mhm.
in 2020, so I started the Patreon, and I started to really get addicted to it to the point where I don't want to even paint alone if I'm not online. So if I'm not on my Patreon, it's kind of boring to sit and paint by myself because I love to talk when I'm painting. And so
Uh-huh.
we like I and you know this because I think you were involved in it. When I did Kairos, I had the audience decide some of the books, where they go, what the symbols were.
Yeah. Some of the colors, you're like, "Hey, what color should I make this part?" And maybe that was with the Dragon Lord, but I definitely saw you paint a few of those. I was like, "Man, it's unbelievable. I can't believe it."
Yeah. So I wish guys, I would love it personally if every single person that wanted a Dragon Lord that's out there could at least get one.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a market to be flooded, of course, but
Mhm.
this was designed to be a collectible limited product. How
Yeah,
limited and how collectible is entirely in the hands of EC and what they do,
sure.
what they decided. I have no input in that whatsoever, and I don't have any knowledge of it. I only
Yeah.
knew that I got 700 boxes, and wow, I wished I could have gotten. I wished I had gotten more.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, who knew?
I thought 700 boxes was going to be way too much. I figured, oh my god, it's going to take me 10 years to sell them.
Yeah.
I was so wrong. Oh my.
I knew it was gonna be a frenzy, but again, like I say, I didn't know like, Team Covenant doesn't sell out often. Like they've had beta and Arthurian Legends like endlessly, it seems. So within hours, it really shocked everybody. Players, collectors, everybody. I mean, it's a jolt. So now we're all like, we got to get at least one. Hopefully we could still get two. We'll be happy with two, please. One to display, one to open. It
Well,
was
I'll be
great.
at Gen Con. I will definitely be signing, the cards. I'll be signing the cards. Won't be signing boxes. I am doing one giveaway box that will be through Eric and the team over there, and I think that's for the tournament and stuff. And I probably am going to also. I've already offered to those guys to give away one of the play mats to Dragon Lord. So for
Hmm.
the tournament stuff. But I will be there signing all those cards. I'm sure there'll be lots of other card games that will be brought before me. Magic the
Yeah.
Gathering. I'll see lots of Birds of Paradise and Nicol Bolas's because I
Hmm.
haven't been there in 15 years. So
Yeah.
a lot of the collectors. I've already had people reaching out to me from all over the West Coast, that go there or the Midwest, and they don't normally see me because I'm only at Tennessee, Michigan, and Ohio and Pittsburgh. That's my shows every year. I don't go to Florida anymore. So there's a lot of people that will be. I have the feeling because I'm going to be there first thing in the morning on Thursday morning. We are going to get stampeded because they're
Yeah.
all going to be wanting to buy the Dragon Lord. And then what they
It's gonna
do
be crazy.
is they're going to crack open that box and they're going to be pulling them out saying Ed sign, Ed sign, Ed sign.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
going to
my
be
god.
crazy. And they only have a tiny little 10-foot booth. Jeff and I have to split a 6-foot table. That's
Oh my god.
a piece for the first 2 hours. Then we switch off and we at least get the full 6 feet. But for those initial 2 hours, man, we're like sardines. It's going to
Yeah.
be hilarious.
When it opens, it is going to be a frenzy. There will be some security nearby, like managing that line, and hopefully, it does seem like I heard someone say today. I don't know where I got this from, but it made it sound like in one of the announcements that maybe sorcery is like holding a lot and bringing it to events. They said they were going to sell it directly at events, so it's making people wonder, like, Team Covenant selling out so fast. Did they not get a ton like they typically would for Arthurian Legends and beta? Maybe like the company has more, so when they go to these events, they're going to bring. I'm just saying, like, hopefully they bring a lot of stock for like the current sorcery fans to get this product, and then like to reach new fans as well. But
Well,
now we're all banking on like we got to show up for these events. I always thought like that's part of the aspect of keeping it limited. It's a carrot to say like, hey, you want one of these? Come see us at an event. Come out and play. Come out and experience the company, like the new reveals and stuff. So it's smart.
yeah, it's no different than a premium that we used to get when we got a Happy Meal if you got a toy.
Yeah.
The whole reason the toy is in there is to get you to buy the food from McDonald's.
Yeah.
But yes, you can use it as a ploy in a way to get you to play. Come on over and see us here. This is where you'll
Yeah.
get. For people that are paying that $40, $50, $150 to be at Gen Con, give them something in return. The ability to have something that others won't have.
Yeah.
But I know that when we're going to be there and it's going to get crazy and it's going to be packed, and I don't know if Team Covenant really, I don't know if they were limited to what they could buy. It sounded more from the way I listened to that live. It was more like they were really taken aback. They didn't expect it. They didn't. I don't think they ordered enough
Yeah.
or made a commitment. But who knows? All I know is they
Right.
definitely didn't, as they said, they really didn't expect this kind of a response. I mean, to the point where they had to do kind of an impromptu live to say, "Hey guys, it's moving fast."
Yeah.
That's just for me. My God, this today has to have been the best day as far as a illustrator working on a product that was my own adaptation of my own storyline. To see something that, for the most part, was undersold and really was kind of downplayed as, it's only 13 cards.
Yeah.
Now to see it sell out like this and have the demand be this high, and that's before the announcement of the playability issues, and that's before
Right.
the change in the avatars fly. So that's a testimony. That's kind of vindication for me a lot because I've been out of the biz for gaming for 15 years. So wow, I mean, and then seeing the comments that people have made, like, this work, the whether it was the Adonitis or the Celestis, saying how beautiful the piece is, the Harbinger of Fire, like how dynamic, it's like it's pretty wild that the old guy, just the hand paint, still relevant when so many. I have a tendency. I think a lot of the folks will. There was always a great divide in the early 2000s for those artists that went digital and those that stayed with the hand painted. There was very few that stayed. And we were trying to be true to craftsmanship. And for the longest time, until Eric decided to put the money where the mouth is and actually create this product of all hand painted, there was no one in the industry supporting anything other than do it fast, do it quick, do it cheap, digital, and now AI, right? So, holy moly, to see the response to a non-AI, non-digital, 100% hand-painted piece, where everyone in the industry was going, "Hey Ed, you're going to be a dinosaur if you don't join us in the digital age." Well, I didn't. I never did, and I'm more relevant than I ever was in my lifetime, guys.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah,
It's a
man.
great day for me.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy for you. And I got to say, like, even the people that were like really pissed off today and like upset and frustrated, like, it's sold out. I was at work. I was like, man, I didn't even get one, and like they're just bummed out, right? Like, all of them said the artwork is irrefutably incredible, and that's what makes it great, right? I mean, the gameplay, we like you say, it sold out before we even knew that there was a rule change that these actually are meta relevant. Like everyone was like, it's unimaginable that 13 cards could have any impact on the meta, and they're going to be a bunch of dragons. It's just a subclass type, like no big deal. But people love the art, and that's all you. It's incredible.
And then there was that price issue. People we were all I knew the price of the product for a long time, and I'm like, we're all like hesitant. I'm like, all right, when's it going to get released? Because I was expecting it was going to be horrific. They were going to go, oh my God, $60, and well, $60. There was a little bit of grumbling, but not much, but a little bit. And then now look at this. Now everyone's going to be begging.
Yeah.
Well, boy, we wish it wasn't. So
it's wild.
It's a real win for the collectible ability issue, but I do understand, and I absolutely would love to have every single person that would like this, whether they were non-collector art collectors or just gamers. Of course, I'm going to want my product to be in their hands, man. I mean, they They like it. They think it's cool. I'd love them to have it, but I do. I don't know whether that's going to be a reality because it is limited. How limited? Did the guys at EC make the balance that was necessary? We don't know yet.
Right.
Um, and that's a hard one to try to narrow that. Put the needle through. I mean, how much do you produce to satisfy both the collectors and the high-end collectors? Keeping things limited, and then at the same time, make it satisfactory for the game players, so that most people can get a chance to have it.
Yeah.
We'll see. We don't know because there are, this is only Team Covenant. There's a
Right.
lot of other
One
vendors.
seller.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have been watching the boards and I have seen a lot of the comments, and it's like, yeah, well, our distributor doesn't have it here, doesn't have it. Well, give it a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have my stuff yet. I mean, I'm supposed to get it tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, we just got to give it a little bit of time here. I mean, there's been a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world, so
Yep.
floods. Oh my God. So I think it's just a little bit of patience. I think like you and I were talking, it's going to take a couple of months. I'm going to say that by the end of August, we should kind of have a good feel for how much is actually going to be able to be satisfactory out there. You did say that they're going to be limiting it to 10 per retail store, I guess.
I was hearing that like up in Canada, someone mentioned that like 10 per store, and there's like they thought there was did they say 10 stores, like 200 for the whole country, which is wild. I don't want to create like FOMO panic because I don't know how real these numbers are, but in the US, I mean, there's a lot of stores across the US. They're kind of like far and few between in some locations regionally, but there's a lot of stores, and like we're all worried like what if stores only start getting 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, like how do they distribute those? And like there's not enough for one for every person. Or if there isn't, then it's tough. Then you're going like with secondary market prices, and people get upset about that, right? You can't at least get one at MSRP, and then so it's just gonna be a wild frenzy. But I don't know. There's pros and cons, certainly.
It's definitely a trade-off when this collection is limited supply. It's always going to be
Yeah.
because it's like you can never make everybody happy. But
Yeah.
from my perspective, this has always been an art project. For Eric, it's been a passion of doing an art project, and he did a great job in putting it together. Wonderful synergy, the matchup and the working. As he very said, this is what did he say? It's did he call it vintage or did he
retro?
Retro. He said
like hilariously retro or something like that. Yeah.
And
I remember it stood out to us, and I'm like, dude, when I see that, it looks like a Sega Genesis cartridge. You know, if your kids played Sega Genesis, that's what I see. I'm like, that's awesome, man. I grew up with that. It looks like a '90s product. It's incredible.
Yeah. When we talked about the font, we went back and forth on the designing of the Dragonlord logo. I enlarged the D's actually at the end.
Yeah.
Cool. When we were doing that, we were talking. The first thing was like this hat. He says this has to have a metal '80s metal looking cover, like album cover style font. I said, oh, absolutely. So there was it was right on target. Everything was exactly. It really worked very well. And yes, I mean, when you look at the so far what's been revealed, you see the color palette that I'm using is very heavily, pushing those colors in vibrant saturation specific to the element, right? So you've got the blue skies with purple, and you've got there's a very unique color palette at an item, the lightning dragon there. She's got a mix of purple, blood reds with the teal greens. That's not typical. Not typical to be seen because I'm using acrylics, I'm using airbrush, I'm doing that, pushing that envelope of those bright, vivid colors of the 1980s and 90s. Everything went very muted when Painter program came out. Everything was like, let's do those muted, barely, almost like sepia toned images, and everything was like super foggy. It's like everything's London, and I just looked at that whole style, and I have done my share of the pre-Raphaelite, very drab colors and pieces. It's not my stick, man. My stick is I like dynamic, I like bold, that's what I do.
It really pops. As I was setting up these two, in the background, the Dragonlord and the Dragonlord's Lair, the color palette uses a lot of similar colors. Did you do those you did those early on? I remember those are some of the first ones you did, right? Was that intentional or just coincidental a bit? I got a dark setting. I got to talk to you later because it looks like you got the same light as me, and I'm a moron. I have no idea how to use it properly.
Okay. So
your lighting looks great. Mine's embarrassing.
So you've got the Dragonlord back there, and what else?
The Dragonlord and the Dragonlord's Lair.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So well,
There's the Dragonlord, right?
yeah. So the Dragonlord is basically greens, reds, and oranges. That's the colors. The Dragonlord's lair has everything. If you go from the left, it's reds and oranges because it's in the fire and the lava. As you go towards the center, it goes into the greens and browns and grays. Then as
Yeah.
you go to the right, it gets into the fall colors, which is the oranges, tans, and more like the yellows. And then you finally get into the winter section, which is because it's all elemental, it's an environmental thing.
Yep.
As you get to the right, you start going blues and greens and teals and purples. That painting has every color on the palette in the spectrum, including teals and purples. So it literally has it all, including pink. It's got pink in it too.
Yeah. Yeah, actually I forgot to put my light on back there, but it's stunning in person. I took that picture out on my back deck. I posted it on the Facebook group ages ago, but that's how you got to do it in natural lighting, or if you have a
Yeah.
better light. But hey, you
Well,
know what? Like while we were talking, I just hit 2,000 subscribers on the channel, so I wanted to thank you again for coming on short notice. And like we've been supporting each other for what, like 3 years now at this point, known you a long time. So definitely wanted to thank you very much for all your support of the channel and the stuff I do. Um, and I'm just very happy for people like yourself that has opportunity. And like I think it's awesome with the company too. Like shout out to Eric to even give you the opportunity. And he didn't give you 700 boxes, but he gave you the opportunity to buy those at presumably a reasonable price, right? You're not going to pay wild prices above MSRP or even at MSRP. But for you to like have the opportunity to invest in your own creation, your own product, it's not something like artists typically get to do, right? Have you even heard of something like that with like, I don't want to talk about like other major games you've done or like any games. Is that a normal thing where you get to buy the product before release?
well, believe it or not, it used to be with Wizards of the Coast.
Really?
They stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, they stopped that. So this is going to blow your mind. So in 1994, 95, I was commissioned in 93, late 93, to start doing the Elder Dragons and Legend cards. I did 10 of them. And
Yeah.
at that time, when we were finished, just before the Legends card set came out, each artist was allowed to buy any amount, no limit, of Legend boxes for $25 a piece.
Oh man,
But
revisionist. When we first started talking, you were telling me the old Magic stories, and I was getting really nostalgic. You're like, yeah, Mike, they used to like not tell us exactly how many proofs we're getting. They just show up. Sometimes we'd get like less. Sometimes it'd be a couple hundred. Like it'd be all over the place, right? So those stories are just awesome, like really nostalgic. But that's cool. I had no idea. I'd never heard that before. $25? Did you say?
yeah, so here's
Oh
the
my
deal.
god.
So
Yeah.
they were giving that option for $25 a box. It was like Christmas of '94, just
Yeah.
before Christmas. I had a class. I was teaching airbrush and medical anatomy, and I had I don't know 10 or 15 students, and some of them were college age, and they played Magic cards. I didn't understand the collectability. I didn't own a retail store. I didn't hang out
It
with people.
wasn't a thing, really. It was
It,
new.
it was relatively
Yeah.
new,
Yeah.
but there was a presence of selling. I don't know if it was eBay or wherever the hell it was, but there was
Yeah.
online selling in 95, 96, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. And all I knew is I could buy the boxes for $25. So I purchased one box for each of my students to give them as a Christmas present. So I just gave them, each of them, a Legend box. Some of them, they were more, well, I should say, half of the class, if not more, didn't even know what it was. And they were like, I don't really want this. So there were two kids who knew exactly, I say kids, they were college age, they knew exactly what it was and how much it would be worth. They went
Yeah.
around to all the other students, and for $25, they purchased from each of the students all the boxes. So now they had they had 15 boxes altogether between the two of them. And about 2 years later, one of them goes into the military. Before he leaves, pulls up in a brand new Pontiac Trans Am, I think it was. And I'm like, so I'm looking at the door. I'm going, dude, how the heck? What happened here? Is the military paying that kind of money? And he just looks at me. He goes, dude, I have to tell you the truth. I've had this on my mind. I've been guilty for it for 2 years now. Remember those boxes you gave me? I said, yeah. He goes, well, they went up to like $1,800 to $2,000 a box, and
Yeah.
we sold them, and I got like 30 grand, and I bought this car. And I just looked at the kid, and I said, I was so pissed because I said, I am pissed not because you were smart enough to make a good business deal, but
Yeah.
I'm so pissed that you didn't tell me because I could
Mm.
have bought any amount and we could have all made tons of money.
Yeah. Oh my god, what a story. There's so many stories like that, you know. One time, like, you're gonna be at Gen Con with Jeff Menges. One time, like, this was, like, very early on, he just, like, he started commenting in my Discord, and I didn't know it was him because he had this some other name. It was like, I think it was related to, like, the serpent painting he did or something to that. I actually forget what it
He
is.
goes by
But he's just
Scarecrow.
talking, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I used to own a bunch." He didn't say who he was. He was like, "I used to own, like, a lot of Magic paintings, but I sold them all in the '90s." I was like, "Oh, man, that's too bad. I've heard too many stories like that." And I was like, and then like we got to talking a bit, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm Jeff Menges. I was the artist." And we're like, "Oh man!" But they all have that same story. Like no one knew. They sold their own cards, their own artist proofs, their own paintings. And now I'm seeing like some of the other artists, like Melissa Benson and a few others. They're not really selling their proofs yet, too, or even their original paintings. They're like, "Yeah, we're going to see how this plays out. This seems like this game could be a big deal." And you know, they're wildly busy with commissions on other stuff. So it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of optimism in sorcery, and this helps. I mean, this mini set really helps. A lot of people were unsure, like we talked about, right? Would it affect the gameplay? You know, it's small. Will people even care? They care. They care a lot. The art's amazing, and the products looks great too. I'm glad you showed the box. That's super cool to see that. We've seen like pictures of it, right? But we haven't seen the
Well,
real deal.
Team Covenant had the box with them,
Oh, I missed that stream today. I'll have to go watch it.
and
Yeah,
I asked Chase. I said, "Can I finally show the box?" He goes, "Yeah." So, but
yeah,
that's your signature there. So
that's
that's
awesome.
kind of what it will look like. Only instead of saying 0 out of 700, which is the proof version, it's
Yeah,
going to on it. But it is a beautiful box, and like I said, that magnetic, that is so nice because that
yeah.
allows it to stay in place. I cannot open the box. I cannot show you what's inside. Uh,
Okay.
that will have to be till Gen Con.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
we haven't seen, like, the pack really, and, like, they've shown blurred out cards, you know, just kinda stacked on the table. They always do those teasers. So, we're fired up. It's only a few weeks away, so I hope you have a great experience there at Gen Con. I think it's like you say, they're gonna be busting the doors down at opening, charging the booth, so, you know, make sure you're secure.
it's going to be, and then Jeff's got the new pieces from Gothic that he's showcasing.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
oh my God, it's going to be insane. And I know
Yeah,
we were talking to Chase about it because we're all trying to figure logistics and how do we handle this.
yeah.
And we know we're expecting it to be overwhelming. And then we have, I guess Saturday is the tournament, one of the tournaments, and then after the exhibit hall hours, this kind of a meet and greet thing. And so uh, we'll be doing giveaways. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. So
Yeah.
I don't even know all of it. It's just it was a slew of emails. Here's what all kinds of cool stuff we're going to do. So it
Yeah.
is going to be action packed. There's going to be. I have one, two. I have. Well, I'll have every print from the entire set available. Uh,
Awesome.
I won't have my artist proofs there. Those will have to be ordered online because those are all custom matted and really high end. But I will have the regular editions there, and I'll
Your
also.
artist proof prints. When you say artist proofs,
I,
everyone thinks of the cards with the blanks.
very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're artist proof prints. So
Okay.
the prints that I do, there's only 100 of those proofs, and those are all matted and mounted, and they come with a beautiful
Mhm.
certificate. The prints that I will be selling at Gen Con are just, they have a color border on them. They look really nice. They're 11 by 14s. Then I
You
have,
had them at, Sorcery Con, right? That version?
those are different. I will have some of those too.
Those looked incredible.
Those are the
Real
big,
nice quality. Yeah.
I got to figure out how I'm going to have to stack them on that 3 foot area of the table and then
Yeah.
just stack things up. and I'm
Yeah.
not going to have inventory like out on the table. So what we've done trying to figure this out, I'm going to have a suitcase where I've already got the prints individually in a sleeve, like a whole stack of them. And I'll be pulling them out one at a time, signing and numbering them. I have board backs and sleeves. And basically, we're going to do it on the side and then hand it to them. So I'll only have an example of each piece that I have, one example on the table so people can see what I have. So
Mhm.
that I will have some of the coins to show folks. Um, what other oh, I've got bookmarks. That's kind of cool. So for those that, hey man, we don't have $40 to even spend. But I would love to have something from you. I have all of these, well, I think all of them, of the sorcery cards as bookmarks. And I have them actually
Oh,
offset. I mean, we went to press for it. They come
cool.
with tassels and all that stuff. So that's all coming out.
Mhm.
And a lot of the stuff you guys have not seen. So
Yeah.
that's 13 images I'll have plus plus my own. Uh, I will. People are saying to me, "Are you going to be bringing any art with you, original art?" And I'm like, "There's no place for us to put it. There's
Okay.
no-
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of exciting. We haven't seen all the cards. I think that's going to work in your favor. People are going to see it and they're gonna flip out. Every time there's a reveal, I post it on the community group there. It gets the most likes of any post I've ever done there in the last 3 years. Like over 100 people every time. They're like, "Oh my god, look at this artwork." It blows their minds. And like, I'm really curious to see those cards in person. How do you fit like all that detail? Insane amount of detail, especially the Kairos, which I have over here on the side. It's unreal. I don't know how that's going to fit on a card, what that's going to look like. Have you
Oh,
seen all the cards? Because you
oh,
got the box?
yeah,
Okay.
the
You
high
happy with how that came out? How it got compressed down?
like, yep.
Yeah.
Kairos probably would be the most difficult as far
Yep.
as going in and, you know, can you actually, with a magnifying glass, see the background to
Yeah.
the extent that, what is it, a 350 DPI print can make at a scale
Mhm.
of 2.5. It was well done. It was laid out beautifully. Um, Obviously, the cards that have the images that are kind of close up are going to be are much easier to see. But if you're
Yeah.
going to try to look at the books in the background, no, you're not going to do it in the card. You better buy my print because you're never going to
Yeah.
see the background, which has a cipher and has all those hidden things, and that's something I'm going to talk about at Gen Con. So that'll finally
Yeah.
come out, all that information. So there's a lot
Cool.
of cool things, but the cards that are still yet to be revealed that won't be seen until Gen Con are pretty awesome. And
Yeah.
actually, the one that's going to be revealed in 2 weeks is very different.
Hmm.
So that's all I want to say about it. It's going to be like we saw at Anitis and how that was dynamically different in style and look than what I had done in the past. And then
Yep.
now Spirit kind of fell within a similar feel. Well, this next piece is very different.
Awesome.
That's that's one of the things I tried to do is with each dragon, their purpose, their element, and the different storyline based aspects, the way in which they were anatomically created and their environments were uniquely different than the next piece. I wanted it so that almost every card was dynamically different in color palette, in position and pose.
Hmm.
I did the best I could with that because you have how many different incarnations? You got 13 different versions. You're going to eventually repeat in order to
Hmm.
fit something in a card because you don't have the luxury of a horizontal format. But I think I nailed a pretty good variety. I feel like there's nothing redundant in the 13 cards. I think if
Yeah.
I had actually, I have obviously more characters in the storyline. At least another 14 already completed, ready to go.
Hmm.
And those are dynamically different than any of the ones. So I would have to say I have at least 27 different color palettes and different unique presentations of the way the art looks and the way the dragon's anatomical factors work. And so, it's kind of cool
Hmm.
to see
It
that
is.
someday. Actually, I really do hope someday that because eventually I'll wind up putting a book together on this because this storyline and this world is huge, and
Yeah.
I've really fallen in love with it from the 2005 to 2012 when I wrote it. Um, it has become so much more evolved over the last 2 years now that I've actually painted these creatures. I mean, I'm writing mini stories, novellas over each of the characters. So this is something I'm going to keep going as a project of mine, and it's going to explode on my personal side. I would love it if we do a follow up mini set. I don't think that's going to happen, but I
Hmm.
have the cards ready to go. Um,
Awesome.
and so who knows? You never know. With the
Yeah.
demand we've got right now today showing this, wow. If I
Yeah.
was, I might just say, you know what? Maybe it's worth doing a follow.
Yeah, or hey, like cards within a future set if it fits thematically, or because there's these like archetypes with subclasses, like whether they're dragons or not. I mean, it could fit somehow. I mean, we got to make it happen. I hope so.
It's done, and then the art's
Yeah,
done. It's not like I have
yeah,
to.
that's
Ready.
awesome.
Yeah. So are there any,
Yeah.
Mike, from the audience that you think I can answer, or any?
Well, people were asking about like, have you nailed down the pricing yet? Or are you going to announce that somewhere? What the different tier levels are? You're going to get that nailed down? Like maybe, like what's the timing on that? You think you'll get it settled by Gen Con, or you'll
Yeah.
announce it there?
No, actually, my Patreon members are going to know that by my next broadcast, which
Oh,
will
okay,
be sometime next week.
okay,
If you're my Patreon member, you're going to find out. Yeah, I'm not going to publicly announce it. It's The truth is, if I get enough of my Patreon members, if enough Patreon members join that it sucks up the inventory, then I won't
Mhm.
ever publish that page. That page, there's nothing I have. I won't have
Yeah,
anything public. I highly doubt that, but
hmm,
let's assume it doesn't happen. Then yes, the page is going to get released because I'm not allowed to release anything until Gen Con. So July 31st, that Thursday, everything's my daughter's going to go live, and then all the price points are going to be laid down.
Okay.
And we're debating now whether we should simplify it to just simple drawing, a complex black and white drawing, and a painting. Rather than having multiple tiers. It's so hard.
Yeah. And I've seen I mean, oftentimes you'll see sketch or painted, right? And painted's more premium, but you can do different levels of detail of sketch.
And that's the
I don't.
problem for me. And my people will tell you this. I started
Yeah,
saying, I'm going to do a simple one, and I never do a simple
I
one.
know. You did that on your last stream when I was watching it. You're like, and we were taking we were betting with people in the chat. We're like, yeah. I'm like, he's gonna go detailed and regret it later.
Oh, yeah, that was Dean. Dean is one of our regulars, and we call him. He's one of our regular patrons. And yeah, Dean go. We got this thing now going back and forth after 2 years. I'll start to get to the point where I feel I'm finished, and I'll say, and it looks like I'm ready to sign. And you'll see Dean make the comment, no, he's not. No, he's
Yeah,
not. He's gonna go back. You watch. He's gonna go back. And then one time I didn't, and I think that's what you're talking about. And I went ahead and signed it. And he says,
yeah.
counting 10, 9, 8, and wait for the after the drawing remorse that Ed will feel. And I didn't last a minute, and I had to go back and do more detail.
Yeah. So someone was asking about the 1 year thing. It's not like you have to have already been a Patreon supporter. You can sign up for the 1 year membership at any tier, but higher tiers will get priority because you gotta do the work. He's got to paint a lot of or paint or sketch a lot of cards here. But yeah, there's
Yeah.
like when you do the 1 year, you get like a discount versus paying monthly. And we talked about it earlier. You guys can rewind the show. It's kind of it's going to discount the tiers relative to the value of his typical work, so it kind of pays for itself. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
You can, yes. So I didn't have that option prior to this whole situation, but to make
Yeah.
it fair to those members that had been with me for a long time and had paid a year's worth, which I
Mhm.
do have at least a year. Because what am I trying to do? Is I'm trying to avoid people from just joining my Patreon just to get this box. I don't want that. I don't want people joining just to get the product. I want them to join because they enjoy my Patreon. So I figured, hey, look, man, if you're willing to join for a year, so I noticed that Patreon had offered me the ability to offer full year rather than monthly, and I went, go ahead and take it. So what I didn't realize until after a couple of people joined, they said, hey, by the way, it's a discount if you do that.
Yeah.
So I've got a whole bunch of my collectors now and my Patreon members that are switching their monthly to paying in full because they're saving money. And I'm like, good for you.
Yeah, I've seen people do that too. Yeah, so why not? If you're gonna you're gonna support for a while, you're enjoying the experience. It's awesome. It's a win-win.
Yep.
Yep. All right, man. We've been going for about an hour, and I got to tell you, it's like you've been riveting. There's been a lot of interest here. We've had the 60 to 70 people like the whole time, which is a lot for a live, like especially an impromptu live that I announced 2 hours ago. So that's really great. People are super excited, and we're all like very happy for you and your great success with all. Like even this was 2 years, at least 2 years in the making, right? I think it's been 2 full years. So it's a long haul, and here we are. You're weeks away from the grand reveal. Amazing.
Weeks away from the grand reveal. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I do want, this was a very impromptu. You and I talked this afternoon and was basically inspired by the fact that we had a sellout today from a major retailer, wholesale.
Yeah.
And that's what prompted us to do this. But there are things that I have not talked to you about that I will be, and I want to do this shout out. I know you wouldn't mind this, but
No, absolutely.
Saturday at 2:30 with Jen and Sophie from the what is it,
Cardboard guide.
and they've got some stuff that I'm going to be presenting there. You guys really want to check that out as well because that's stuff I'm going to be presenting that I haven't talked about here, and that's kind of special because we're going to get much more into the lore and also the new products. We're going to do some reveals on their shows.
Ooh,
I try to
nice.
share the love with all of you guys, and also for just to let you know, Mike, we talked about this. I always try to give your people a discount coupon code. Your guys will for both your Patreon. They'll get a little better discount, as well as your Art House members. You're going to get a discount coupon for the new stuff that I'm releasing. So you can use
Okay.
the website, and it's a code that's specific to you guys. It's not available to the public, and only my Patreon members, your Patreon members. I will also share that with Jen and Sophie. So, we try to share the love among each of us that are trying to support the industry and each other. And you've been there from ground one. So your people are very loyal, and they're all focused on art, which is that's my world, right? So
Hmm.
your guys are taken care of, and so I just want to let all your members know You guys, Mike will be providing you a coupon code for all the goodies that are going to be coming out available the same time Gen Con. On my website, you'll be able to order all this cool stuff because all of a sudden, all of the images are going to light up, all the limited edition prints, all the canvas reproductions, all the coins, and all the other products, the flags and T-shirts, and all that
Nice.
stuff. It's all going to be available at once, and you will have a coupon code because I'm going to make sure you get it before I leave for Gen Con. And then when
Awesome.
July 31st hits, you go ahead and release that coupon code and let them have it.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, like we've been supporting each other for over 2 years, so I really appreciate all the support. It helps a lot. I'm really passionate about supporting the artists and hand painted traditional art. It's really unique in the world today in TCGs. We've gotten away from it, so thank God Eric had the the stones here to excuse me. I'm trying to heal up here. But like, yeah, I mean, it was a massive undertaking, this sorcery project. The dedication to hand painted and the mini set is something special within that whole ecosystem. So
They
we're
really,
thrilled.
and thank God for you really constantly bringing the message back home to the issue of hand painted, because
Mm,
it's a guard game, and everybody wants to talk about play and mechanics and tournaments, and now you've got Star City Games, and oh look at it being brought into the world of tournament play and blah blah blah. Well, I only am going to say this. I have caution only because I saw it happen in the 90s. I saw Wizards of the Coast in the very beginning when I was in 92 there at Gen Con. And they came to me to commission me to work, and eventually I got onto the Legend project and worked on the early years. I remember when Legends hit. I remember when the days were that, now, of course, granted, everybody was hand painting back then because digital really hadn't come into their own yet. But the people that were coming, the players that were coming up to us were equally as interested in the art collecting and having art signed. They would come up with cards that sucked at play, but they loved the art. And they would say, I know this is a terrible playing card, but I want it signed to you because I love the art. I saw that disappear as soon as Wizards of the Coast became Hasbro, and Hasbro pushed tournament, tournament, tournament. As soon as they kept pushing the big $10,000 prizes, everything turned into a chess playing match. No
mm,
one cared. Like when you play chess, do you care if it's wood, marble? No. You're just moving the pieces. It's a strategy. It's binary thinking. So it got completely away from the art side. And I remember very clearly, I mentioned this to you. I was in Berlin in 2004 at the Worlds, right? And it was
mhm.
me and I think it was Wayne England. He's passed away since then. Um,
Yeah.
him and I were chatting, and I remember in the beginning where there was a ton of people in that first elimination. We actually saw some people coming up with cards that were, oh, these are cards that really don't play well, but there were some people that actually wanted them signed. These were the not the serious tournament, ultra levels. As soon as
Mhm.
that first wave cleared out, I remember Wayne and I just sitting there twiddling our thumbs, and the only things we saw every time another wave got eliminated was the same heavy hitter popular mechanic cards. I mean, that was the one time I think it was Psychotog. It was my most popular card at the time. It was broken as heck, and
Mm,
that's all I did. I signed one card. I said, guys, you do know, because by that time I had done 100 cards. I said, I have done 100 cards, guys. You can bring me something else. And
yeah.
I pray that that's not what's going to happen to this game. That the current casual play and the enthusiasm of the unique art aspect and the hand
Mm,
craftsmanship doesn't start to be pushed aside and the focus be all tournament. Because if it does, then this is going to turn into another Wizards of the Coast with the fact that it's hand painted is going to become a secondary issue, and it should never be. It's got to be equally as important as the play. And that means we need to see tournaments hosting art shows at the same time.
mhm.
Sure if that model is actually in place. I know Origins, I was the art show coordinator for many years, 15 years there doing that. We made sure of it. So even though there was gameplay, there was an art show. I
Mhm.
can't speak to Star City Games. I don't know if they have an art show there. Having artists there as just guests or alters, not the same thing. It has
Mm,
to be promoted by the companies. And we haven't seen that. So
yeah.
we hope that that's what Eric, because he's worked so hard to build such a unique thing with hand painted focus. It would be a shame to see that become overshadowed by this massive explosion into the tournament world. So I'm not anti
Mhm.
tournament, but I am definitely anti. Let's only focus on playability, mechanics, and binary thinking, and completely forget about the fact this is all hand painted great work. And let's
Yeah.
maintain the both factor. Where people, I remember people playing with Magic cards and not having a clue to who did the art, and half the time not even remembering what the image was. All they knew was literally the mechanics of the card. And
Yep.
I remember somebody coming up to me going, "Hey, I didn't even realize you did this." I go, "You know my name's on the bottom of that card, big and bold, right?" It wasn't a factor, and because the
Yeah.
company didn't make it a factor, we started to lose that interest, and that's why I got out of it too, because it was no longer. The only time I'm ever getting cards in the mail and all that was always something that they could flip on eBay, and that was the other thing. At the tournaments, most of those players, all they did was get the signature so they could turn around, flip it for money, so they could pay for their way to the tournament. And
Yeah.
I really just don't want to see that model repeat itself. And I
Hmm.
hope that I think so far, I mean, your Sorcery Con obviously is preserving that. You're
Yep.
working artist liaison for that.
Yep.
Those other two gentlemen. Sorcery Con is an example of keeping tournament play actively involved with art and making sure all of it works equally together. I just hope that stays that way.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I just did a video on that, and some of the players were coming into the comments saying like, "Hey, why don't you just be happy for the players?" And I'm like, "That's not it. Like players are important. Art is important. It's those two things is what makes sorcery special and different. It's a differentiator." So you articulated it much better than I did. So I'm glad you you went through that. And then also, I want to pick your brain on Sorcery Con too. This distinction of like guest artists versus an art gallery, because I want to, like, as you say, I'm involved in Sorcery Con. My responsibility is all the artist coordination and art aspects. So I want to do that justice and really showcase their talents and their work as best I can. So we'll talk more about that offline for sure.
Right, brother.
Yeah, but thanks again for coming on very short notice. Again, you said 2:30 Saturday with Sophie and Jens at Cardboard Guide.
You got it.
Okay.
2:30 Saturday afternoon Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, can't wait to hear more about those lore stories. That's the next shoe to drop, so that'll be fun.
The new
Thanks,
day.
Ed.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, take care. See you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.